All right, I'm getting us logged in on.
Just the two of us. Is
Computers.
anybody else coming, or are they all the rest gonna stay at home?
Jamila is attending from home, so that gets us a quorum. Let's see.
Yeah, there you go. So they got a ordinance before the council Thursday night to put a moratorium on.
Oh, I saw that on the agenda for planning commission.
Yeah.
A what?
A moratorium on new housing
Rezones.
additions, I think, even.
It's basically on rezones to dense residential is what the docket sounded like.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Well, basically,
Or
it'll just,
no new subdivision.
yeah, no new subdivisions for a while.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like, that's great in Pendleton, but you can just build on the other side of the
Well,
line.
yeah,
and
that's
it's
what
like,
I'm
it's not
thinking.
gonna do anything.
First thing is, if they don't want to come to Pendleton, they got all kinds of farm acres out here if they can buy it. And county, both Hamilton and
Yeah,
all three counties will approve it.
It's cheaper on this side of the line.
yeah, it's definitely cheaper on this side of the line, for sure.
And then we won't get the taxes off of it, but we'll still be doing the fire runs and the ambulance runs and
Yeah.
everything else. I know what they're also right now thinking that, Urbans has tried to get in and got turned down, trying to redo that PUD out
I'm
there.
gonna probably, let's see.
See, I
Well,
think that like right now, when I'm not
I'm gonna
on
mute this for a
anymore,
minute.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
How are you?
Good. Good to see you. I see we're the two home participants
Yeah.
again.
Hopefully next month, maybe I can come. But you've got a new hairstyle, I see.
I've been growing out my color and sticking with it.
It would have been nice to listen to what they're saying. It sounds kind of interesting.
We'll have to get to the plant commission meeting, I guess.
Have to show up. Yeah. Okay.
So is your daughter in school full-time in person?
Yeah, she's been going since mid-August. So they've had a couple cases there and just kind of did the contact tracing, but they haven't closed down. So I think it's been good. We just finished fall break last week, so we'll see how it goes in the next couple weeks if people came back with it. How about you guys?
So we have grandchildren in the schools here, and their pediatrician just said, maybe stay away from them for 2 or 3 weeks. Kind of see how it goes when they get back. So we're keeping a little bit of distance, but that's okay.
I know
It's short term.
we stayed just around here, and a lot of people we know stayed, but I heard there were a couple people that my daughter knows that went even to Mexico. So a lot of
Really?
people in Florida, I imagine those are the people to avoid.
There's just not that much to do on trips now. Even if you take the risk to go, it's not the usual, restaurants and cultural activities and things like that. So we thought we're just gonna stay homebodies for the rest of the year.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. I mean, I worry even to go visit my parents. They're in Illinois. It's just a 3.5 hour drive, but you just don't know. Since we're out and about and dealing with the school. It's, is your office open, the foundation?
Yeah, our office is open. We've been back in the office since May, but we have low foot traffic. And there are just 2 of us who work in the office you've been in. So since it's a historic house, we kind of have a system, like I stay in my office, she stays in hers. And then when we see each other in the central area, we have sanitizer there and stuff. So that's our current plan. And we just minimize foot traffic.
Yeah, I've been back in the office since mid-August. And just kind of stay in my own area.
Is it with very many others?
There's probably like about 6 or 7 people that are regularly coming there, but we were shut down for 5 months, and now they want us to come back unless there was like a medical issue.
Yeah.
So
And is it a medical office?
no, it's a law firm
Oh, okay.
in Fishers.
Mhm. Looks like Kayla has her phone and there we go.
Okay, Tammy, can you hear us?
Yes. Okay, so Kayla, to your view, is this everyone we're expecting?
I believe so. Yep.
Okay. All right. In that case, I can call the meeting to order. It's 7:04. Of course, I popped open the minutes most recently and not the agenda. So if we could start off with the call, the roll call to determine the quorum. Tammy Bowman, present via Zoom.
Mike
Camila?
here.
Present via Zoom.
Okay.
Kyle Acklin, present.
Yep.
Mike Romack, present.
Okay. So that constitutes a quorum. And if possible, I see 2 people are present in person, so we can handle on the agenda the approval of minutes of the previous meeting. I know they were circulated by email, and so you have those in your packets. They're the minutes of the 9/15/2020 meeting. And so if everyone's had a chance to look over those, we could entertain a motion on them or any corrections.
Okay, motion to approve minutes.
Okay, there's a motion to approve the minutes. Is there a second?
Second.
Kyle Eichhorn seconded.
Okay, very good. In that case, I would ask for a roll call vote for approval of the minutes. Voting in favor. Kayla, should you read the names?
I can, yeah.
Okay, yeah,
Okay. Tammy Bowman,
yes.
Jamila Zafar,
Yes.
Kyle Eichhorn,
Yes.
Mike Romack.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. That is, the minutes are now approved. And will those be signed tonight, Kayla?
They do not need to be signed.
Great, thank you. Is there anything under old business? There is nothing listed.
No.
Okay, then we can move forward to new business. And we have one item before us. It is CU 1020-2020-01. This is in the 300 block of South Main Street. Ring Investments comes before us with 2 new duplexes on adjacent lots in the historic residential zoning district.
Yes. Okay. I'll go ahead and share my screen. Okay, and Josh Ring is here tonight representing this petition. Sorry, let me get this thing going. All right. So Tammy, you summed it up pretty well. It's 2 new duplexes on adjacent lots known as lots 19 and 20 in White's Addition. This is at the northwest corner of Tile Street and South Main Street. There's the big empty field, but on the north side of Tile there are 2 vacant lots that were occupied by a dilapidated house a number of years ago, but have been vacant at least for 4 or 5 years now. So Rings would like to build 2 duplexes, one on each lot. So a total of 4 units. Now this is considered a conditional use in the historic residential zoning district. So we've been through this a few times before with Butlers, for example, on their in-law suite addition, and also actually with the neighbors across the street from this property. And there's a small pink house that the gentleman who bought it finished out 2 units in it and received a conditional use permit to have 2 family use there in that existing building. The reasons it is conditional use rather than just permitted, I imagine, is to ensure that parking is not an issue, and also to ensure a certain number of multifamily in a historic building in the historic residential versus, say, as many apartments as you could possibly fit in a building. I think they were probably worst case scenario planning. In this case, these are 2 new build duplexes on 2 vacant lots. So we haven't really seen one like this before in front of this board, but we're starting from scratch, and I don't foresee any problems.
You didn't get any feedback from the neighbors at all?
Only positive. We had 2 neighbors actually reach out and express support for the project. I've included a couple of slides showing the site. There's a vicinity map showing the 2 vacant lots next to each other. They'll face onto Main Street. You can see that the neighborhood is largely historic residential and is very close to the downtown business zoning district.
Well, I was thinking in particular about Kyle Smith that has that property across the street, depending on what he wants to build or what he's across the street there is, what's it zoned?
It's zoned historic residential as well.
Okay.
So Josh provided me with a schematic showing like a potential lot layout. We were concerned a little bit with especially the southern lot having 2 larger setbacks off of Tile Street and also off of Main Street. But you know, there's still room to put 2 duplexes based on the designs that Rings provided, and room to spare for driveway, one off of the alley to the north, the other off of the garage, off of Tile Street to the south. And I did provide these setback requirements to Josh based on the nearby homes, which do influence our setbacks in historic residential, as well as our bulk matrix, which gives us some requirements.
I'll point out one thing.
Yeah.
The black line, the very outside far line, so that is the property boundary. So like if you look where it says Main Street, where it says Main Street, that will be like a side, that's where the sidewalk's at. That's the town's right of way. So that just gives you a better idea.
What's the green shading
The
for?
green shaded part is my area that I can build in. So the black line in is the property. Everything white is actual grass. It's just I can't build there. So in the green is where I can actually build at.
We should point out too, that's where you can build your primary structure. You actually have a few more feet to play with on your garage placement.
So what's the red then?
The red will be a sidewalk that goes to the back of the buildings.
Kayla,
We'll probably end up putting a fence down the middle of them
On the line.
on the line. Yeah.
Yes, Tammy?
is this how the lots were originally oriented when there was a location there before?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
thanks.
So are the garages only 15 feet deep?
Yeah, yeah, and they're 30-foot wide, but they're 15 feet deep. They're gonna be split in half, so it'd be a party wall down the middle, and then I think it's 8 feet for a garage door, plus 3 feet for an entry door in the front, give or take 2 feet for spacing between each and to the edge. But my dad was like, you need to bump that out farther. He's like, it's gotta be at least 20. And we can move it to 20 feet.
This is really still conceptual.
This is very conceptual. I mean, it's not very conceptual, but it's conceptual.
All we're doing is approving the conditional usage. Is that correct? And then at some point in time, he will have to come back with his building?
That'll just get a regular building permit. So that way,
Okay.
rather than coming to us with a building permit for a duplex and raising red flags, then we're kind of setting the groundwork down for it ahead of time. So he's got some parameters to actually pick the design in and know what he's working with.
I want to get ahead of Caleb. I've given up. My goal is to build like old duplexes you will see like in downtown Indianapolis. Like I'm going to fit the character of the neighborhood. Like there's a picture right there.
Looks like a
That's my
serious
favorite.
Yeah, that, I kind of like the Dumont versus the, but your problem will be the width, because it appears that the first lot, duplex 1 is going to be narrower than duplex 2.
Yes. So that's why we're like giving like that will fit on lot 1 once you show them there. But like building something like that in that area, like it won't fit. You know, it's as cool as it looks. It's in a residential area. It's like all brick. That's something you see downtown or something. I mean, as much as I love it, it's probably one of my dad's favorite ones, but I'm just trying to give you guys an idea of what we're trying to do.
I mean, it's all decorating as far as the
Yeah,
porch
it's
goes.
decorating
So you
all
can,
that, yeah.
here is a
Floor
plan.
layout, we kind of have know what the floor layout is, but it's like, what's the exterior going to look like?
And
I want it to look like
obviously,
it's been there 100 years.
these are obviously historic plans, so you'll be presenting us with modern plans that have all the,
Yeah,
obviously
oh,
modern
yeah, once we
conveniences
get,
and
it's
stuff.
like, we want to make sure we can get it zoned that way to do it before we go spend money on trying to develop plans. And if you can't get it zoned, then there's no sense in trying to develop plans. So,
Will you have to go before the historic commission because it's in that historic district to show the plans at any time?
No, this is in the historic residential zoning district, which I know it's confusing, but our historic residential zoning district is not in our local historic district. So only the buildings in the local historic district, which are zoned downtown business generally, need to go before
Oh, okay.
the HPC.
So is there any restriction on materials or anything like that?
No. He could, Josh could put up anything that would meet Indiana building code and also our local zoning ordinance setbacks, lot coverage.
I can
Height.
tell you, it will either be brick or cementous hardy siding like that.
So you're not looking at condos, you're looking at a rental property.
Yes.
What's the rent? You got an idea what the rental will be?
Yeah, well, right now you see them in Summer Lake renting for $1,200 a month. So for
The whole, you mean the whole house, yeah.
Yeah, for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. Well, that's a 3-bedroom. Our goal is 3-bedroom, 2-bath. I mean, you're not going to build a 1-bedroom. It wouldn't be.
Yeah.
You're either going to be able to 2 or 3, and we're selling them in on a 3-bedroom, 2-bath layout per side. So it'll be split down the middle, and everybody's doing on either side.
Got a couple other images showing the available water line and where that is approximately. There are plans to extend a 6-inch water main down Main Street. So you'll need to talk to Justin with the water department about that. And then I was a little concerned about our storm sewers in that area. I don't believe we have one crossing at a weird angle across this lot. However, I would say do your due diligence and obviously get utilities located.
Oh, absolutely.
Make sure you're not gonna, land on a storm drain. It is, the ones we have that could potentially go through that area are 12 to 18-inch clay field tiles, just so you know. So if you hit something like that.
The house that was there had a basement.
Yeah.
It had, that house had a really nice basement. The house was bad, but the basement was awesome. It was.
I thought you backed over.
As far as our findings go, parking is going to be something you'll have to requirement you'll have to meet,
Yep.
2 parking spaces per each dwelling unit. So that means 4 parking spaces for each duplex.
And so how I'm hoping we get by that is that in the garage is 1 and in the driveways 2. And everybody has their own garage, and of course the driveways are kind of shared, but it's, or I can put something down the middle and split them up.
A parking space measured is 9 by 18. So I think that got me to like 648 square feet per lot for parking, which I think you've got room, since you're starting from scratch, you've got room to do that. And you don't have to stick to the setbacks to do that. So within a given distance off the property line, of course.
Yes.
Driveway parking is permitted in residential districts, so that's no big deal. Our UDO is silent on how garage spaces count toward the parking requirement. Interestingly enough, Hunsinger Farm Planned Unit Development document shows that does give like a formula, like one garage space equal, shall count toward that parking requirement. In this case, there's also available on-street parking within a right in front of the lot. So there's enough room here to make parking work. Under bulk matrix requirements, conditional uses should follow single family guidelines in this situation for setbacks and building height under the historic residential column. Other elements like lot coverage and minimum floor space per unit are really kind of left up to this board to really decide with that conditional use permit. Because it is not just a strict single family detached use that is under the HR column or historic residential column of our bulk matrix. So I have included some recommendations. However, I just want to be upfront with you guys that is kind of left to the board to work with how they want to. So my staff recommendation is to approve with the following conditions or recommendations really that the maximum lot coverage is 50%. That's what other homes in the historic residential zoning district are held to, is at 50% to be covered with pavement or rooftop. Minimum unit size, our 2-family dwelling, our 2-family zoning district calls for 720 square feet per unit. I actually think that number might be best based on Indiana state code. And it sounds like you're going to go for bigger than that anyway, so I'm not concerned. Okay, I thought it was like 8, something like that. So whatever you guys need to do there, I think you're going to beat the minimum. But 720 is what our 2-family bulk matrix calls for as a minimum. And then garage spaces shall count toward the parking requirement, just to kind of help you out with the parking requirement there. So, anyway.
Even our garage, I'm trying to find plans for old garages. I'm trying to make it look old. I want all of it look old.
That's all I have. If the board wants to add anything or ask Josh any questions.
Is the lot coverage an issue at all?
I still am, I don't understand the 50% lot coverage. It's like, does that include the buildable area or does that include my setbacks?
It's your impervious surfaces where water would run off, basically rooftops and paved.
Yeah.
So it doesn't look like that will be an issue.
I mean, but when if you take that number, what's the other number you calculate it with? Is it
The total lot area.
The total lot?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you'll be able to cover
So it's not just your green space.
Yeah.
It's everything.
4,000 square feet of your 8,000 square foot lot. You can cover with building and pavement.
Yeah, that looks like even on the smaller lot, it's 50%. It's right at 50.
I think the southern lot looks smaller just because it's got a double front setback.
Yeah.
Well, it is smaller because of tile street.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it'll have a bigger side yard. And the reason we do that double front setback on corner lots is so that way the neighbor on Tile Street isn't cut off by this big new house.
I have that same issue. We own the corner lot on Franklin Tile. So we own the southeast lot, and I was gonna build a house there, but by the time you take away your setback and your setback, your buildable space is pretty small. So I mean, it's thrown me a curve once before, but here it's not throwing us a curve, so we're okay with it.
Does your family have other rentals in Pendleton?
So, yes. A lot.
You guys just redid it was like an old, kind of like an old, almost hotel type or motel type deal back behind the business location, right? Oak Street. Have you had any issues,
No.
I guess, as far as the way that property is blended in?
No, I think the property blended in nice. It looks a lot better than what it did before. I mean, we completely updated all infrastructure. Because before there was one sewer line and two water taps. Now everybody has their own water meter and their own sewer line. So we did a lot of work. And it's looks amazing. And is amazing. People love it. So they leased out before they were even done.
Okay, are there any more questions from panelists to the petitioner or to staff?
I do want to say one thing. I do understand Mike's concern about setting precedent with the guy across the street. I understand it. That was a good comment I thought earlier.
Well, I mean, he got sent a letter too, right? Because he owned the property.
It would have been the property owner of record, and he might, do you know if he got one?
On the property at that point.
He might be a little too recent.
But it would have been six. Whoever owned it. I hope anyway. If not, Kate's gonna have a problem.
He can't build apartments. Can he build condos? He probably wouldn't be able to build condos there, or could he build condos there?
Yeah, he's gonna have a huge setback, keep that in mind. He's got the same setback I do. When he gets to the corner, it's gonna set back even farther, and then
It's
it's like a
percentage
doom.
based.
Huh?
So if his lot's 1,300 feet wide, he's got a 130-foot setback, because it's 10%.
Yeah.
Well, but
Parking, where
his
you
problem
are.
isn't lots, though, is it? Is it one piece of property, or is it already parcel?
Currently, it's one piece of property.
Zone historic residential. Single family would be the only permitted use right now.
Right now, yeah, but I do know he plans to come back in before you guys and subdivide it. We were really upfront with him that we need to talk about this now if you're planning to subdivide. So he's been fine to work with so far. I know he's working really closely with our water department to make sure that a water line is run down there that can serve all of the homes he's planning to build.
See how old of a guy is.
I'm not sure.
I know a lot of, like,
I
I know a handful of people who are like, do this, and like, nah, I'm not touch it. So he's like, just go do it.
I'm sure he'll be out there at some point at the house. You guys should talk to him. See what his ideas are.
Wouldn't know what I look like. I've been to the house, I've stopped at the house, watched him build the house, because I walk down there 3 days a week, and I wouldn't know who he is, so. But now I know his name, I'll check it out.
Okay, is there any more discussion on this conditional use petition? And if not, I would entertain a motion on this one.
I do have a quick question. Is there any thought to restrict building materials, or do we not want to do that? I know you've already stated what you're planning on using, so I mean, just for precedent moving forward.
I mean, I'm open to whatever you guys want. I'm perfectly willing to work within the confines of what the town does to do what I want to. So I don't know what you're concerned with. Millions would be like asphalt millions.
No, I'm just saying on vinyl siding, I guess.
Yeah,
We
no,
want
there's no
something
way.
more
There's
historical looking.
yeah, I can tell you, there's not a chance in hell.
Okay, In the historic downtown, is that limited?
In the downtown, in the local historic district, yes.
Okay.
However, in historic residential, since it is individual residents, we generally haven't restricted them.
Do you want to include that or?
I just thought the discussion point, if anybody else has any input on it, if it matters.
If he wanted to add that in to stop somebody from down the road, I can tell you, there's no way that we would ever do vinyl siding. Ever.
I know like on the Carrick Glen, that was a kind of a sticking point, so I didn't know if we wanted to continue that theme. I know this isn't a rezone.
But if you add it in here, then it comes back, and we did it here, it's like, yeah, but no vinyl siding. Yeah.
Be worth adding it to the. To meet the standard, what would you call it? To meeting the standards of the.
Well, I guess I am hesitant as a staff member to want to include it on a smaller project like this. On larger plan commission neighborhoods, considering the sheer number of homes that are going in and the impact of the community on of that neighborhood on our community character, that's kind of been a driving force. So I don't know that I feel any need to include a material.
Okay. And besides, the guy that built that big house down there, he didn't want anything cheap between you and him anyway.
Yeah, I think we're seeing great investment in this area, and that's really a positive sign.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Sounds good. I move that we approve with Kayla's recommendation, CU 10202020-01.
Okay, and is there a second?
You're including the 3 staff recommendations?
Yes,
Okay.
including 3 staff recommendations.
I'll second.
Okay, so we have a motion for approval with staff recommendations, and Kayla, if you wouldn't mind conducting a roll call, please.
Yes. Tammy Bowman,
Yes.
Jamila Zafar,
Yes.
Kyle Eichhorn,
Yes.
Mike Roman.
Yes.
Okay, so the conditional use has been approved with staff recommendations, and I don't believe there's anything else on our agenda except the adjournment. We're expecting another meeting November 17th, 2020, so put that on your calendars, and if there are no further comments, the meeting is adjourned. Okay, thanks.
Thank you all.
Can I get your signatures on the findings of facts? I can get one there.
All right.
Thank you. Oh, hey, wait just a minute and I'll give you a copy of the findings of fact.
Virtual for the chair and vice chair, right?
Yeah.
Plus it helps bring in like consolidating more people, even though I'm adding 2 more people. The more mass you get into the downtown, the more people will.
I see that land on Madison.
Yeah.
$15,000
Yes.
an acre is what they're asking.
Yeah.
That's probably a little high for.
You are on the
development
agenda,
because of
yep.
what they may have to do. And
Should
it's
I
too
go
high
up?
for farm ground.
Zoom thing.
Yeah.
One of the brothers died and the other brother said he wants to.
You don't have to come. You don't want to.
Give or take 40.
I could do a Zoom.
You might be, yeah, you could zoom in if you want to. It might be an interesting meeting if you did want to participate in person, but I totally leave that up to you.
Yeah, I texted you. You never replied to me.
I think it'll be a meeting you'll have some thoughts on for sure. There will be a public hearing on the idea of a moratorium on primary plats and reasons until we get our UDO
From my.
in outline too.
that
But of
little
course, we're
backwoods
gonna try to
I
get your
got,
plat buttoned
there's
up
a
as
low
well.
area in there,
Um,
and when it's wet, it floods.
You'll be first, I think.
They said
Thank you.
they improved
You're
it, the
welcome.
town
See ya.
improved it with fixing a tile somewhere,
Yeah.
but it's still there. I'd like to